Hey guys, it's Alaija aka Kingdom Babe here, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today is day 9 of Vlogmas, but more importantly, it is Bible study day. So if you see me looking down, I'm just reading my notes. But the title of today's message is Don't Bow Down, Don't Give In. And that is inspired by the 3 Hebrew boys. Why can't I say that right? The 3 Hebrew boys, Meshach, Rashach, and Abednego. So if you're not familiar with the story, I'm going to actually show you the verses where this, comes together. They showed outstanding faith, and God showed up and showed out on their behalf. And so if you're not familiar with this story, take a look at this. So basically, they were standing in their faith. They were not going to bow down to the image that Nebuchadnezzar had made. And so because of that, the punishment was them being thrown in the fiery furnace. So you can kind of see that as being very intense, very scary. They must have had some really crazy faith, and they did. They trusted in God to deliver them. They trusted that God would show up for them. And they knew that their God was the real and true God of the world and the universe. And so they didn't have any fear in them. They didn't have any reason to actually go and conform to what Nebuchadnezzar was saying. They didn't conform like everybody else around them. They stood in their faith, and that's what makes them so super inspiring, because of the faith they had. And so you go on to read that they are thrown in the furnace, and there's an angel in there with them, and now Nebuchadnezzar and everybody's looking like,
what? We didn't put 4 people in there. We only put 3 dudes in there. So how is it 4 in there?
and when they came out of the furnace, they didn't even smell like fire or smoke. They didn't get singed. They didn't get burned. They were completely untouched. That is the most supernatural thing I've ever seen. Literally. And a side note, they were cool with Daniel, Daniel of the lion's den. And so that's another story of supernatural just protection, because y'all know lions, they don't care if you a man of God, and they don't care if you don't worship God. And they were hungry at that, but God closed the mouth of the lion. And not that was necessarily important to this situation, but I just find it funny that they were actually companions, and Daniel got thrown in the lion's den, they got thrown in the furnace, and it was because of their faith and their trust and believing in God. And God showed up and showed out, and now they are in the Hall of Fame of most important Bible stories that we keep up to date with. Bless me with a group of friends like that. That's the kind of friends you need in life. But back to the story. As you see, it goes on, and they were delivered. And not only were they delivered, but they were even promoted in the province. They were faithful to God, and so God was faithful to them.
And you're probably thinking, okay, so that's nice, that's the story, what does that have to do with me?
It has everything to do with us, because we might not have to be forced to bow down to an image. And I don't know, guys, it's 2020 going into 2021. I don't know what's gonna happen next, but you know what I mean. That might not be our struggle, our trouble today, but we still have situations in our life that will try and force us to conform to the ways of this world, conform to our problems, make money our God, make our success our God, make relationships and anything else that's not God our God. And so we have these situations to where when we stand in our faith, and when we kind of, don't give in, or we don't bow down, we face these trials, and we think, oh my gosh, like this is the end, like this is the hardest thing I've ever done. And honestly, as you see in this story and many other stories in the Bible, when you stand in your faith in God, there is nothing else you have to do. God does everything else for you. When you just trust in Him and believe in Him and know that He's going to deliver you, you walking out the fire like, so you don't have to worry about anything else. And it's just a good story to bring into today's world, because I feel like, especially us young Christians who are still trying to find our way, there's a lot of things being said to us, people trying to convince us that we are not supposed to be on the road that God has clearly placed us on, people trying to convince us otherwise, people trying to get us to do other things. This story actually resonates in my spirit a little bit differently, and I really appreciate it. I am inspired by Meshach, Rashach, and Abednego, and people like Daniel, of course, but the story is about the 3 Hebrew boys today, so we'll get to Daniel another day. My message and my encouragement to you guys is to never bow down and to never give in. But I kind of wanted to talk about what to expect when you don't bow down and when you don't give in, because it sounds easy, like, oh yes, just be strong for God, just be faithful to God, just do whatever for God. But I kind of want you to know what to expect, and I have 3 things listed, and these are the 3 things. So the first thing you need to know about this is that it takes faith. It takes every single last ounce and drop of faith that you have in God. Fear has no place or position in a time like this. You can't do this without your faith in God. Faith in yourself or anything or anyone else will fail you. This will require the strength of God. You may be too weak, and that's okay. You need to ask God for strength to resist the temptation, to bow down, and to give in. Number 2, you should know that it will get crazy. It will not be an easy task. Standing for God is a little bit more aggressive and intense, or it might sound good in your head, but once you actually have to do it, you'll realize that it actually calls for more on your part. Meshach, Rashach, and Abednego were thrown into the furnace because of their dedication and faith in God. But even in the midst of that, they gave their lives to God and trusted in His supernatural power to deliver them. You might not get thrown into a furnace, but you will face harsh persecutions for your faith. Throughout it all, keep His word within you, God in front of you, and the kingdom in mind. And lastly, expect promotion. After you stood the trial and you faced the challenges and you finally made it through it all, God is going to promote you. Our God is faithful, especially to those who are faithful to Him. As you stand for God throughout your life, just know that He is preparing a seat for you at His table. And that is the greatest promotion of all. And so, yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for this lesson today. Do not give in and do not bow down. Trust and believe. It might be tempting to do so. It might be tempting to conform to the ways of this world, but trust and believe. The Bible speaks against that. Even if it's not the popular or most appealing idea, it's always the right idea. Meshach, Rashach, and Abednego are our examples in 2020 as to what it looks like to stand strong. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to just be this thing to where you go and stand for God and you won't have any trouble or you won't have any challenges. Never think that just because you are doing something for God that you will not face anything, that you will not face any problem. Pretty much any other person in the Bible that has done something miraculously for God, that has done something through the miraculous power of God, they have faced many challenges. Look at Noah, look at Moses, look at David, look at all these people you got, and I'm still in the Old Testament, but that's just the Old Testament, like I said. So remember to keep your trust in God, build your foundation on God's word, and keep the kingdom in mind in everything you do. God will show up and show out on your behalf. And so, guys, I hope you like this video. Like I said, you might not be thrown in the furnace, and you might not have to bow down to a golden image, but you will definitely face things that will try and pull you away from God's commands or keep you from doing what God has asked you to do, or even just conform to the ways of the world which you know are not right. Don't forget to like this video, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and push the notification bell so you'll be notified when I post a new video. I will see you guys for day 10 of Vlogmas, and until then, peace.